This podcast was originally live-streamed on the NonSequitur show on YouTube. New episodes air weekdays, Monday through Friday, at 8 p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/NonSequitur show. Make sure you never miss a live stream by visiting www.nonsecshow.com/schedule. For the latest news, polls and updates throughout the day, follow us on Twitter at NonSecShow or Facebook.com/NonSecShow. That's NONSEQ show. If you'd like to get exclusive content, bi-weekly private hangouts with Kyle and Steve, backstage access to chat with guests after shows hosted on your channel and much more, become a Patreon saint of NonSequitur. It ensures we continue to improve our show and brings you into the process at the same time. Visit patreon.com/NonSequitur today while the limited spots are still available.
The following podcast is intended for those who believe bold ideas are righteous, unique perspectives are gospel, and strong opinions are sacred. This is Non-Sequitur. Never follow. And now, here are your hosts, Kyle Curtis and Steve McRae.
Esme.
Oh, the other one.
Yeah, the other one. There is more than one.
Somebody kick the TV, please. Thank you.
There you go.
It happens every time. Almost. It usually
So,
happens before we start.
we have to adjust the rabbit ears, you know.
Did you see that though? I didn't even know that was coming, and we still
That was pretty
handled
cool.
it like it was nothing. See, that's a pro right there.
Sometimes you have to get the funds in here, though.
Yeah. Hey.
That's not,
now,
that actually works. That's no joke. That, mechanical agitation will fix just about anything.
my grandpa had a TV that you would do that. You just pop it on the side, and it would come back. You have to do it like every 15 minutes.
I can't do that to my I can't do that to my computer anymore now that it's in a glass case. Just like punt. Oh, it's all gone.
Pam does that to your head though all the time. Serious though. Pam probably does that to your head all the time.
Yeah, domestic violence jokes are funny.
Oh,
he
went all SJW on me.
I'm kidding.
God,
I'm kidding. I have a hammer for a reason.
Kick his ass tonight, Catholic Fusionist. Kick his ass.
Yeah, you already lost. You already lost, Suris. Just get out.
That's fine.
Yeah, to be fair, this
Welcome,
is the one
everybody.
time the Catholic can't be preaching to the choir.
I see what you did there. There.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Welcome everybody.
That was clever.
We're glad that you're here with us today. We're going to have a discussion about Roe v. Wade, pro-life and pro-choice aspects of that. It's topical now, especially with Brett Kavanaugh in the
You like beer?
nomination. Yeah, do you like beer? I knew that was coming. I knew as soon as that came out of my mouth that was going to happen. If you didn't watch last night's Sunday Mass with Mr. Atheist, I bet we watched that clip probably 60 times.
I'd say that's a pretty good estimate.
Yeah, so that is forever burned in my mind. But yeah, we're going to get to that in just a second. Let me say hello first to Suris and the Catholic Fusionist. Thank you both for coming on. It's good to have you here.
Thank you for having us on.
Thanks.
Sure.
Nice.
And Steve, I heard you're a clown.
I am. I guess I'm a clown because reasons. But I gotta ask Max first. Is that actually your camera, or is that actually like a filter you have on? Because that's pretty cool.
What filter?
It's okay. It's not
That
a
answers
filter.
the question.
It's your camera.
That answers
It's
the
like
question
an
right
old-
there.
It's like an old retro '50s type thing. It's kind
Oh,
of badass
no.
actually.
This
That's
is
why-
the fault of my computer. It's just terrible.
That's why I got
Terrible
static.
in a good way.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, I like that. Looks good. Yeah,
So
so
he looks like he could be in a Fallout game right now.
Exactly.
being
That's
a
what
clown, Steve.
bingo. Yes. Back to being a clown. So I guess a JMD decided to make a video about us, calling us clowns on our inability to do exegesis. And however, when I had asked JMD simple questions about the Bible, he wasn't able to answer them. I'm like, well, how's your exegesis? Because I would ask him basic questions from what would we know to be contradictions, such as scribal errors. He wasn't aware of these things. And it's like, wait a minute, JMD, you're criticizing our exegesis, but you're not even aware of the own contradictions in your own Bible? Help me on this, because it's a little confusing if we're the clowns that can't exegete. And
he used the example from the that talk that we had in that after show of where we were talking about his comment that the Bible wasn't written for lay people. This is why lay people shouldn't read the Bible.
The thing that happened with pragmatic culture.
Yeah,
I mean,
when it happened, hold on, Max. I'll let you because I do want to hear what you have to say about this. But let me just kind of, for those who don't know, we did an after show, and pragmatic culture made the comment. We were talking about the Bible and some examples of some contradictions, and he said, "This is why lay people shouldn't read the Bible." And so my question was, well, who is the book written for? If you're God and you want everybody to come to you and be a part of your kingdom, don't you want anybody to be able to pick up the book and be able to read it? So Max, how do you respond to that?
So is he a Protestant or a Catholic or Eastern Orthodox? He's Catholic. Oh, actually, I would agree with him on that one for a couple of reasons. One,
wait, does that make a difference, though?
It's what denomination you are. Okay.
Tribalism.
Okay. So I was about to say that the denomination that he's on shouldn't make a difference.
He's one of my people. I would agree with him.
Anyway, it's not that. It's not okay. It's not that. It's for a specific reason. If he was a Protestant and he said that, then I'd be like, yeah, that's kind of been the Catholic and Eastern Orthodox point of view. It seems very inconsistent for you to leave the church, say sola scriptura, and then say lay people shouldn't read the Bible. But if he's a Catholic, I would understand that, mostly because the scriptures are written to be liturgical. These were the books that were approved to be read in church by the bishops. Now, for most of human history, the masses were illiterate. They couldn't read. Which is another reason why I don't take, the Protestant doctrine of the Bible alone very seriously. Why would God dictate his sole means of revelation through a book most people for history couldn't read? The understanding was the Bible was supposed to be transmitted, the written word was supposed to be transmitted through the church and its traditions, just like the doctrines preserved by oral transmission from bishops to bishops, which were then consecrated through various councils. Mm-hmm. And the reason, and if you want to see a good reason why lay people shouldn't have access to the Bible without at least some kind of supervision and approval of works by the hierarchy, look at Protestantism and how denominationally fragmented they are. You have Lutherans. Yeah, sure.
Hold on 1 second. Let me ask him this question. I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Pragmatic Culture, and then we'll let Steve ask his question, and then we'll move on to the actual discussion. But if you were a god, right, and you took all of this time to create mankind, you shaped the earth, the universe, everything in it, down to, minute detail. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it make sense that you write a book that, number one, everybody can understand, because you want everybody to come to heaven? Let's say that they're in a situation where there's nobody around to read it. We could get into that situation. Wouldn't you want somebody to be able to just pick it up and understand without having a priest explain everything to you? And wouldn't you want it to be in such specific detail that you wouldn't have the splintering off of the church? You wouldn't have one denomination saying that, oh, this is what this verse means. This is what this verse means. You would want them very specific and very instructive, so there's no question, and then people could choose whether they want to follow it or not.
No, I wouldn't, and for a couple of specific reasons. One is I want my people to be united, which means I want them to be interdependent upon one another. If anyone could just go to the Bible and just get what they needed sufficiently, then you wouldn't have a united people, similar to the nation of Israel, which was united by
what if your Bible said to be united?
What if it said to be
But
united? Well,
But
it
if
does.
the Bible
doesn't
commanded to be,
It does the
if the
opposite.
Bible, then, well, hold on. If the Bible does command to be united, then that whole point falls flat. Because if everybody can read the Bible and can understand that it's a commandment by God, ergo they would want to obey that commandment, and one of the commandments is for them to be united, then the argument that they should be united and therefore they should have to rely on each other for reading the Bible falls on its own butt.
Not necessarily, because there's a distinction to be had between motivation and knowledge. Someone can know something, but they could not be motivated to do so. However, somebody could be put in a specific circumstance where they are motivated to do so, given their environment and all else considered. So, for example, for example, if someone commands me, don't do drugs, it's going to be a little easier if I'm in an environment where there are very few drugs available, as opposed to one where there's a lot of drugs available. So likewise, if you also want to create an apparatus, say the church, where people can be united or are much easier to be united, especially when you need common things like the sacraments, common things like rituals, all these other things. Not to mention,
this is fascinating. I'm just going to say this is actually. It is. It's a good topic.
This sounds like a conversation that I'd actually like us to have at a later date.
It is not why we are here. Sure. We need to.
And I just think it's funny you need. I just think it's funny that you need parental supervision to read the Bible. It's like that's just bizarre to me for some reason. I don't get it at all. I mean, never heard anything like that. We have to explain to you what the Bible is because you're just not confident to be able to read words. Okay.
Well, not only that, but when you say, Max, that you don't want to do that because you want it to unite people, you want it to be not so clear because you want that kind of intermingling in the uniting. The Bible actually had that opposite effect. It's actually responsible for splitting people as far away from each other as possible. But I mean,
only when lay people got access to it, though.
We'll have to leave it. This is something that we can definitely come back to. I actually
might side with Max on this one a little more than you, Kyle. But I think this is a conversation that I'd actually really like to have with Max at a later point when we have time for this specific conversation, because this is actually a really interesting one that I'd like to have.
Throw me a date anytime on your channel.
Wait. Yeah, so the actual debate that you're supposed to have tonight, Suris, is not interesting to you?
the actual debate, well, first of all, it's a discussion.
Okay, whatever. He's not interested.
It is interesting. It is. Actually, no. My point.
You got things to do. We don't want to bore you, man. You got things to do. Go, whatever.
Actually, my point was that both the discussion that we're having right now, the smaller one that's tangential, and the discussion we're supposed to be having, are both conversations I'd like to have, and I'd like to have both of them with Max. Like this is something that I'd like to do. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you're getting ready to get your wish now, because aside from the fact that I want to let everybody know to go and make sure you vote for the Golden Nuns. There are 3 weeks left for the first round. You can go to tinyurl.com/Golden Nuns and vote for your favorite content creators, animators, video of the year, debate of the year. There's 22 categories. So go and do that. We've had a good big response. Some categories are being landslided. Some are up for grabs and neck and neck. So and surprisingly enough, the one of the choices on there is the theist debater from this show. So in the non-sex specific shows, we have a category, the theist debater, and I've listed 4 of the theist debaters that we've had on here, and that one is going completely opposite of how I thought it would. I thought I had a good indicator of how it's going to go, but not at all, and that's surprising. But yeah, Steve, you got anything else announcement wise?
No, let's get it going, man. Let's do it.
Oh, Dr. John Kroon on Saturday will be taking on the Plain Truth, who's a flat earther. So Dr. Kroon versus.
Oh boy, another one of those.
He's been waiting for a flat earther. He's been begging for one.
And we've been good, guys. We haven't had a flat earth debate in a month. So
true. Maybe I'm still feeling burned from the one that I had on my channel.